Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Triangular Talk session. My name is Shreya Kalyan, and I'm the CEO of Agora Math Circle. Triangular Talks is a forum for students to interact with and hear directly from industry executives across various companies and organizations about how they use STEM concepts and problem-solving skills in their day-to-day work lives. Triangular Talks will be a series of 1-hour online Zoom sessions consisting of 3 parts: an introduction, a presentation, and a Q&A session. These talks will revolve around one central idea: the triangular method for solving problems. This method begins with the problem, and from that, one gets innovation, which one will finally use to solve the problem. To help students connect the dots between classes and real life, speakers will be asked what they do every day and how they apply their knowledge of STEM and problem solving. This will introduce students to different industries and motivate them to nurture their problem solving skills and not give up. The most common questions asked by students in any math class are, why are we learning this, or when will we ever use this? This program will answer these questions and encourage students to take the initiative to learn and do more. Today, we are joined by Lauren Lefkowitz. Lauren is an executive leadership coach who partners with leaders and executives who want to find joy in their careers. She believes fine is a trap and supports professionals in breaking the work, sleep, repeat cycle. Lauren also has 20 years of experience as a human resources leader and has hired and managed people at all levels for all different kinds of jobs. Today's talk is particularly exciting for me as a senior. That means I'm applying to college, and with that comes a big question. What am I majoring? I think I can speak on behalf of many of us students when I say that our idea of what jobs are available are very limited. Today, Lauren will be addressing things like this, and hopefully you'll walk away with a new perspective. That being said, Lauren, thank you for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Shreya. I'm so glad to be here. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Show me a reaction on your profile and tell me how your morning's going.
My morning is going great.
Awesome.
My morning's going great as well.
Amazing. I've got some thumbs up.
My morning is going great.
Amazing.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad you're all here. This is going to be a ton of fun. So I'm going to pull up a presentation and share my screen with you. And we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to figure out what you want to do when you grow up. And this is for all of you and any of your parents who are standing behind you or sitting with you and watching this presentation. It's for Shreya. It's for anybody that you know, because our whole lives, we have a chance to figure out what we want to do when we grow up, no matter how old we are. And the cool thing is when you're in grade school and middle school and high school, you have this opportunity to keep discovering what is out there and what people do. I do want to say, as we're getting started, I love conversation. So thank you for coming right in and saying good morning and telling me how your day is going. If you have questions, you can use the Zoom, raise your hand. You can type in the chat and you can just interrupt. I am here for conversation. So if you have questions along the way, absolutely awesome. If you want to save your questions until the end, we are going to save some time at the end to do some Q&A. And so you'll have an opportunity then as well if you don't want to come into the middle of the conversation. Cool. And I will ask Shreya and Matangi if you can just keep an eye on the chat. I'm going to try to, but got a lot of screen going. So if you see something in the chat, feel free to interrupt me if it's something that I can help with. All right, here we go. So let's talk first about what today is about, right? First, we're going to talk about who the blueberry pie am I? Why am I here talking to you? What do I have to say? And then we're going to go through the triangular talk. What is the problem? The problem is, what should I be when I grow up? We'll talk through some innovation, thoughts, actions, investigations, discoveries that you can put in place to keep learning what there is out there, what you can be when you grow up. And then we'll move on to solutions. Now what? What do you do after this presentation? What do you do after I'm gone and you have all this stuff to think about for the rest of your life? So first, who am I? Hello, it's me. I'm Lauren. And when I ask, who am I? When you ask a grown-up, who are you? Very often they're going to tell you what they do for a living first. And there's the who am I as a human being who likes to do stuff. And there's the who am I who does work. And both of those are the same person. But I always like to introduce myself first as what I love. So some things I love to do. I love hanging out with my friends. I love my dog. I have a 14-year-old dog. Her name is Puppy. She's amazing. She's sleeping on my foot right now. And you'll get to see a picture of her in a little while. I love to read and write and watch funny things on YouTube, on Instagram, on TV. I like to knit, which is something that I learned this year. It's the first time in my life that I tried knitting, and I actually really like it. I find it really like fun and calming and pretty. I love to do jigsaw puzzles. It's such a great way to relax and do something a little bit creative that has a structure to it. I like all of those factors, and I love to go to the beach. So let's find out a little bit about you and what you love to do. And I'm going to open a whiteboard for us so that you can tell us in the chat, or I'm sorry, tell us on the whiteboard who you are. And if you don't know how to use a whiteboard on Zoom, if you look on the left side of your screen, there's all kinds of symbols, arrows, and things like that. If you click on the T and then you click on the whiteboard, it will give you a text box so that you can type something in about who you are. What do you like to do? If you're on a phone, you can see the whiteboard, but it won't let you actually type in the whiteboard. And so if you have something that you want to share, just go ahead and share it in the chat if you're on the if you're on a cell phone. I got read. I like to sing, play computer games, swim, art, gaming, sports, sing and dance, watch movies. This is awesome. We've got art in the chat. Awesome. Play with Legos, watch movies, play video games, sketch. Oh, amazing. Color, play video games, more swimming, games. I love games. I should have put that on my list. I love games. We've got reading in the chat. We've got art and read mysteries, singing songs, read and swim, gaming, drawing mandalas, reading. Love it. Amazing. Playing video games, doing Legos, singing, board games, movies. Amazing. Playing soccer, Monopoly. Ooh, Monopoly makes me stressed out. I don't like to lose money. Art and realistic and historic fiction books. Ooh, love that. Yep. Play computer games and football. Playing piano. Badminton, board games. Incredible. Reading science, playing tag with my friends, playing piano. Mobile games and football. Basker. Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. This is so cool. Awesome. We'll give it like 15 more seconds. Ukulele, that's impressive. Violin, also impressive. Painting, a lot of creativity here. Harry Potter movies, books and drawing, piano, cricket, flute. That's so cool. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to pull this down for now. And we're going to go back to the presentation. And let's talk a little bit about why I asked you what you love to do. When we talk about the things we love to do, it's so easy to think of the games we like to play and the people we like to be with and the hobbies we like and the music we like to play or listen to. But when we ask people, what do you want to be when you grow up? We don't always know, right? Because we don't know what jobs there are out there. You have lots of friends and you discover with each other what kinds of games you like to play, what kinds of hobbies you like to have.
Hello?
But
Yeah,
when
I
you
just joined.
welcome, I'm glad to have you. I'm Lauren. Nice to meet you. We've still got people joining us, and that's great. We're just right now talking about what we love to do, and we're going to move on to what jobs there are out there.
Okay.
So when you think about your jobs that you can be when you grow up, you don't know. Your friends don't have jobs, right? We don't have real world jobs until we're grown up. Sometimes, if we don't go to college right out of high school, sometimes if we go to college, we're getting jobs right out of college, or we're going for advanced degrees and then we're getting jobs. There's so many options, so many opportunities. But right now it's hard to know even what jobs are out there. So let's talk a little bit about me and who I am and what I've learned over my career. So more about who I am, right? Some of who I am is what I like to do, and some of who I am is what I like to do for work. So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Maryland. I'm over on the East Coast, so it's already noon over here for me. And I have a bunch of certifications. My career has been so far in human resources and coaching. So I've got human resources certifications and I've got coaching certifications. And I've got a history of all these places that I've worked. But who do I actually work for? That's my boss. My boss is Puppy. She's a dog. She's 14 years old. She's asleep on my foot. She will not participate in this. She does not like presenting. She gets very nervous. So I just let her sleep on the floor. And I work for her. I also do work for professional people. And I help professional people figure out what they want to do when they grow up, even though they're already grown up. So I work with a lot of people who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s who found a job and found a career, and now it's maybe not what they want to do, or they maybe want to get promoted to higher levels and they don't know how. And so I help them figure that out. These are some things at work that I'm good at. I'm good at strategic thinking. That's like building the whole plan for people and helping them figure out from a big, grand perspective what they want to be when they grow up. I'm good at problem solving, helping people figure out what's holding them back from moving into something that they really want to do, and helping them figure out how to get out of that and move forward. I'm good at reading and learning, so I'm always learning in my job. I'm always finding new ways to learn things about coaching and about people and about behavior. I love writing. I'm writing a book right now. That's about an experience I had during my career. And I've never written a book before, so I'm good at it and I'm learning it at the same time. I'm good at talking to groups of people. Look at me now. I'm good at helping people see what their strengths are. I'm also really good at listening. I'm good at building confidence in people. And I like to think I'm pretty good at being kind and funny. So I want to know from you what you're good at. I know you're smart and I know you're a hard worker because you're here and you're learning on a Saturday. But maybe you're the funniest or the kindest or the most creative or the most fun or the cleverest or the mathiest or the researchiest person that you know. I know some of those aren't real words. So let's find out. I'm going to pull up the whiteboard again. And I want you to tell me just some stuff that you're good at. And again, if you can't use the whiteboard, we're going to mix this in with all the stuff we've already written about who you are. If you joined us a little bit late, we've already done a little bit of work on the whiteboard talking about what we like to do. So now I'm asking you to tell me what you're good at. If you can't get on the whiteboard because you're on a phone or you have an older version of Zoom, go ahead and put yours in the chat and I'll make sure to read those too. We've got, my friends say I'm the smartest person in our friend group. Love that. They also say I'm really funny. Welcome, fellow funny person. I have an obsession space. Ooh, what's that? Tell me more. My friends say I'm the smartest and weirdest. Ooh, I love weird. Makes me happy. What else do we have here? I'm good at math, science. I'm good at math, and people say I'm funny. That came in as a private message, but I'm reading it out loud. Awesome. Oh, I have an obsession with space. Got it. Awesome. Space is very cool. Good at sports and math and learning. Amazing. What else are we good at, everyone? Make this a little bigger so we can squeeze some more stuff in. I'm good at making origami and sketching. I'm good at cooking. I'm good at programming and video editing. Good in art, science, very creative and love building things. Good at drawing and polymer clay. Ooh. Programming and video editing, math and science. Facts about the past and math, good at science. A lot of scientists here, a lot of math people here. Love it. Amazing. We'll give it about 30 more seconds. Quick learner, tell me what you're good at. Science, geography, math and cooking. Amazing. People say I am smart and I listen to them. Math. Amazing. Good at science. Awesome. Video games. Amazing. Cool. 10 more seconds and I'm going to pull this down and we will come back to talking about this at the end. Good at communication, good at math and science and playing piano. Good at science, math, and cooking. Heart, good at drawing a heart on a whiteboard. Well done. Awesome, awesome. All right. So I'm going to close the whiteboard for now. Oh, I like to swim. Added there. Awesome. Got in at the last second. Good work. Okay, cool. So now we've talked a little bit about things that you really like to do and things that you're really good at. So the problem remains, what should I be when I grow up? And the first thing that we think about is, we're going to come back to the whiteboard now, is what jobs are there that have things you like and that also have things you're good at? So what jobs do you know about? I'm going to pull up the whiteboard. What jobs do you know about that here we go. What jobs do you know about that you can be when you grow up? Any jobs that you know about? Astronaut. Lawyer, physician. Cosmophysicist. Air traffic controller, biologist. Doctor, lawyer, scientist, pilot, soccer, gaming, gaming programmer. We've got some stuff coming into the chat too here. Let's see, architect, food teaching, doctor, paleontologist, artist, heart surgeon, detective, scientist, doctor, chemical engineer, YouTuber, streamer, VFX editor, game developer, app development, YouTuber, doctor, artist, paleontologist, gamer, software engineer, astrophysicist, big tech engineer like Elon Musk. Yes, awesome. What else do we have? A sports trainer, fireman, soccer player, geologist. Cool. We've got some great ideas coming in here. Politician, scientist, engineer, and artist for when I retire. Cool. Biologist, rocket scientist, sports player. Astrologist, gastroenterologist, singer. Amazing ideas. CEO. Yes, thinking big. Love it. Design. App developer, biologist, entrepreneur, dancer. Amazing. Actor. Singer, teacher. Amazing. Cool. Some great ideas. We're going to take 15 more seconds and pull this down. Violinist, mathematician. Awesome. Doctor. IAS, prime minister. Engineer, sports trainer. Awesome. Professional soccer player, engineer for NASA. Got a couple of engineers coming in here. Amazing. Singer, policeman. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to pull this down. Thank you so much for all your participation. This makes this so much more fun. Math teacher. The last second math teacher came in the room. Awesome. Cool. So the real problem is we don't know all the jobs that are actually out there. So all of the jobs that you all mentioned may be jobs that your parents have, your aunts and uncles have, your grandparents have, your best friend's mom or dad has, or you've seen it on TV or a movie. But there are actually tons of jobs out there that are STEM related jobs that we don't realize are STEM related jobs. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to get curious. So you may have recognized that I am not a STEM trained person. I'm on the softer side. If you added the A in STEM and made it STEAM, that's me. So we're going to just get curious. We're going to be curious and creative and a little less scientific than maybe you usually are in these talks, but I'm excited. So we're going to create a company. This company is called Anya's Applesauce. And when you look at the applesauce in a bowl, it actually looks kind of gross, right? Because applesauce is not a pretty food, but a lot of people think it's delicious. And a lot of people use it for just eating plain, for eating with other kinds of foods as an addition to a meal. Some people use it to bake or cook instead of oils. And so applesauce is actually like a really versatile and cool thing to make. But if we just created a company that was Anya's Applesauce, and we put a picture on the jar of this bowl of applesauce, probably nobody's going to buy it because it looks kind of boring, looks kind of bland. So when we think about building a company and we think about all of the jobs that are involved in a company, there are a lot, right? So somebody, for example, has to come up with the idea for the company, right? And invent this new kind of applesauce. So if you've got this new person with this new idea, with this new applesauce, whoops, that's not the kind of whiteboard I wanted to pull up. That is my whiteboard, which is not what I'm looking for. Give me just 1 second here. All right, well, we'll go with it. Cool. So now you can see, oh, I think I have to stop sharing first. Let's see here. It's no fun if there's not a challenge, right? All right, here we are. I'll be the person who types in, and I want you to call out what kinds of jobs you think might be in this company.
Someone who cooks.
Someone who cooks. Yep. So let's stop here before we call out other jobs and talk about who might cook. What kind of person, what kind of training might they have? What might their job be if they cook for a living?
Chef.
Say that again.
A chef.
A chef. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Who else works in this company?
A baker.
Say that again.
A baker.
A baker. Sure, absolutely, right? Because you want a chef and a baker to be creating recipes, to be thinking about how this could be who could use this applesauce and how. What else? How do we, when we think about the jar that I showed you of applesauce, or the bowl I showed you of applesauce, what do we think of when we go to the store? What do we see that makes us want to buy applesauce? Viom, I see your hand is up. Come and tell us what you're thinking.
I would like, if we were at a store and we wanted to buy applesauce, that would probably be for the reason, like, I don't know if many people know this or not, but like a lot of bakers sometimes put out little things that make a little scent of like really good applesauce, which makes you want to go inside the store because now you're hungry for applesauce.
So a scent creator, who do you think what kind of job might you think it would be to create scents, to create smells?
Maybe what do you call it? Some sort of tech installer.
Okay.
To put in the little.
Yeah, a tech installer to put in like whatever shoots out the smell, right? Prisha, what do you got?
Maybe a scientist who could like make this like special non-harmful formula like that.
Yeah.
Smell.
Yeah. So probably a chemist, right? Who can combine the stuff, maybe a biologist to make sure that whatever they're putting out there isn't harmful, that you're smelling, that isn't going to hurt you. Yeah, cool. What else? What other jobs might there be to get the applesauce from the apple tree and into the store?
The one who.
A farmer.
Say that again, a farmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You need farmers who are growing the right apples, for your applesauce, because you can't, Granny Smith apples and Honey Crisp apples don't taste the same. Mahi, what do you have?
Marketing to set the prices for the applesauce.
Yeah. So marketing does a lot of stuff, right? They can help set the prices. And so in setting prices, you've got people who are doing research, right? To find out like, how much do other people charge for applesauce? How much should applesauce cost? Who buys applesauce, right? Marketing also designs the jar, right? So you've got the designers for the jars. What else? What else happens to make a company? Sorry?
Pre-sale.
Pre-sale? What's pre-sale? Tell me about that.
Those are set prices.
For set prices? Yep. Varun, what do you have for us?
I think it's the truck driver because he imports the cargo.
Absolutely, for sure. You've got truck drivers
Yeah.
and somebody else is talking. I can't hear what you're saying though. Okay, we've got Titus. What do you have?
Managers.
Managers?
Mhm.
Yeah, you got managers who have to manage the people. What else? Bjorn.
Like a cashier.
Someone who takes the cash?
Sure, if they're selling it directly, absolutely, you could have a cashier. Mahi, do you still have something? Your hand has been up, but I know you answered one thing. I don't. Oh, great. Okay. Prisha, what do you have?
Like someone, like staff.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you need staff to do all the work, right? You need assistants to help all of the managers. You need managers to run the show. You need people. Shatbi?
Delivery man.
Yes, delivery people, absolutely. Madhya? What do you have? No, you can come back when you're ready. Snigdha?
Consumer.
Consumers, sure, you need people to buy the applesauce, right? All right, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to fill in some blanks, right? So when we think of, and if you have things to add, just come on in and add them. When we think of a whole company, every part of STEM fits into that company. You need researchers who are going to do analysis. You need scientists who are going to make sure what the food and the smells and the packaging is safe for consumers. You need technology. You have to figure out how you're going to sell this, how you're going to make the machinery work. If you're putting scents in stores, how that technology works and how the spray comes out. And you also need technology to just run a company, right? You can't run a company without the computers and all of the IT behind everything. You also probably have lawyers, right? Because a lawyer is going to help the company do the business, run the business legally and ethically, and make sure that if somebody comes and says, hey, you stole my applesauce recipe, I'm going to sue you, that they can defend that. So you've got all kinds of jobs in here. And human resources, which is what I did for 20 years, is the person who hires and manages and makes sure that we have enough of all of these people to run the company. So this is just an example. There are tons and tons and tons of different companies and different jobs. What do you think I'm missing in this company? Who's got something to add? What other kinds of jobs have I not said? Snigdha, do you have something to add? Aditya Kumar, do you have something?
A chief executing officer.
A chief security officer? Yes, absolutely.
You could do a food tester.
A food tester, awesome. What else? Aryahi? So Manu, you can just come off mute and say them out loud.
Lawyers.
Lawyers, yep, lots of lawyers. What else?
Online sellers.
Online sellers, sure thing. Oops.
Food standard approvers.
Yep, what else? If you've got your hand up, just come off mute and say it. Say the thing.
Oh, then the people who actually build the entire the entire store.
I was gonna.
Yeah, so you've got builders, you've got architects,
Yeah.
right? You've got interior designers who are gonna put up wallpaper and make it look pretty.
Investors.
Yes, yeah, on the money side, you need investors, you need people inside to help manage finance. You need people inside to do accounting. What else we got?
CEO.
Advertising and marketing.
Advertising and marketing.
Packager.
I don't know what you call it.
I'm sorry, say that one again.
Packager.
Packaging, yes.
CEO.
Yep, we've got CEO up there. Awesome.
I don't know.
I'm gonna add human resources up there because nobody ever thinks of that.
I don't know what you call it, but in like the packaging of the applesauce,
Researchers for doing market analysis.
So sorry, two of you were talking at once.
Researchers.
Researchers. Yep.
I know what you call it, but like the packaging outside part where it's like says if it's organic and stuff, like you need
Like the label.
Yeah, like the label.
Yeah.
A label so to convince the consumers that's a good type of applesauce.
Yeah. Amazing. So you can see in just one company, there are so many different jobs. And so many of these jobs involve aspects of STEM. And so many of these jobs are super creative and things that you may not think of as things that your parents do or your friends' parents do, or you've seen on TV, right? You're never watching a movie about a person who designs labels for applesauce, but they exist, they're real. And so as you're thinking about what the jobs are out there, you want to be thinking about how to find out that these jobs exist, right? So I'm going to go back to the presentation here. And I see that I've missed quite a lot in the chat. So I'm just going to go back to that and just add in some of the ideas that we got in the chat. Thanks for coming into the chat. We've got, oh my goodness, so many. Food inspector, cashier, delivery man, chef, marketing, a cook, packing person, manager for the money. Yeah, all different kinds of money management. Demonstrator about the company. Absolutely, someone who goes out and talks about the product. Food inspector, taster, chef, manager, moderator, cashiers, editors, marketing, advertising, marketing supervisor, serving man, transporter of goods, farmer, chief executive officer, technology, consumers, packagers, who gets the applesauce, the customer, online sellers, delivery partners, food inspectors, trainers, yes, for sure. Food inspector, again, hiring manager, CEO, trainer who will teach how to make the sauce. Yeah, so you need chefs and recipe creators, recruiters to hire people, CEO, CFO, admins, absolutely. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So great news. These jobs don't just exist in our made up companies. They exist everywhere. And there is always a ton of opportunity to find these jobs, right? So where could you find these jobs? We already know you can find these jobs in a made up applesauce company, right? But I'm going to just zip through some ideas here because we're a little bit short on time about where you could be all of these things. So you think of a doctor, for example, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but you think of a doctor, and of course you think of a doctor treating patients. But doctors also become researchers. They work in laboratories. They work in pharmaceutical companies. They work in companies that strategize ways to create better care for people. There are politicians who become doctors. There are doctors who become politicians. There are doctors who become lawyers and work with medical malpractice or people who get hurt. There are accountants who work with lawyers, who work with doctors. And so, some of the jobs that we talked about in the beginning that combine the what you like with what you're good at, there's this great opportunity for you as you're growing up, as you're learning things, to really get curious about what other jobs there are and how you can get into them. So then the question is like, how do I find out more, right? So the big answer to that is networking. Now, some of you may know what networking is, and some of you may not know what networking is. So networking is getting to know people in different industries and different jobs, and in the jobs that you like and that you already know about, so that as you grow up and as you get to know more people and as you become a professional, you have people to ask questions to, you have people to chat with, you have people to discuss the things that you get really excited about. And also networking feels really scary. So networking, though, is part of innovation, right? Networking is a way to keep getting curious and keep researching what's out there. Now, for those of you in the crowd who are introverts, does everybody know what an introvert is? Somebody who likes to be a little bit quieter, who likes some alone time, who likes one-on-one time. Maybe he doesn't really like big crowds, doesn't really feel comfortable presenting on a stage. Maybe doesn't really like to be at big parties, would prefer to be at small parties. So give me a reaction, a thumbs up or a hand up if you're introverted. Who here is introverted? Yep, I see some hands. I see some thumbs up. Yep. Guess what? Me too. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm loud and I'm fun and I'm talking to all of you, but that's something that I learned, and I learned that I really enjoy. But if I'm picking my time, I want to be quiet. I like to be quiet. And so I've learned how to make networking not so scary. And the way I've made networking not so scary is by making it easier for myself. So there are a few things I want you to know about people. First of all, people love to talk about themselves. I love to talk about myself. If somebody asks you about something you're excited about, if somebody asks you to tell them about science because you're good at science, or somebody asks you to tell them about how you like to sing or how you play the flute, you're going to love to talk about that because you love talking about the things that you love doing. So know from the start that people love to talk about their jobs. And if you have the right questions, you actually barely have to talk. So you get to still be introverted. You can be grateful and have, eye-to-eye engagement or be on a phone call, and you can be talking to people about their jobs, and you barely have to talk if you're asking them questions. Networking calls, if you're talking to somebody about their jobs or their careers, they can be short. They can be 10 or 15 minutes. And a great place to start is with your friends' parents, because your friends' parents have kids, so they know how to talk to kids, right? So here are some networking questions. If you can take a screenshot of this, this is good for you to keep handy. These are some good networking questions to ask if you're ready to talk to a grown-up about what they do for work. Ask them, what did you go to school for? What was your major in school? What did you learn? What jobs have you had so far in your career? How did you decide what you wanted to do? If you didn't have this job, if you could pick a different job, what kind of job would you want to have? If you could go back to school again, what would you want to learn? And what's the most interesting job you know of? Because there are all kinds of jobs out there that we didn't even get to talk about today. There are people who name the color of nail polish for a living. There are people who are in charge of writing the descriptions for the shows on Netflix. There are all kinds of jobs in every kind of company, and so many of them are so interesting. And you know what else? There are a lot of jobs that don't exist yet. A lot of the jobs that you all talked about, that you knew about at the beginning of our conversation, a lot of the things that you like to do are ideas and technology that didn't even exist 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So I started working in the 1900s. And when I started working in the 1900s, I didn't even have a computer at my desk. We had a shared computer over in a corner that we went to when we needed to use the computer, if you can believe that. And And throughout my career, all of this technology we have, phones and geographic technology and shared networking, all has come about. So there's also so much cool stuff that's still coming out that are going to be all new kinds of careers. The other place besides networking to start learning is on social media. Now, I will say LinkedIn and Instagram and the other social media sites, they have an age restriction, and some of them are 13 and some of them are 16 and some of them are 18. So check with your parents before you sign up for anything. So I want to say that really clearly. I'm not encouraging you to sign up for something that is not in your age range, but you could do research with your parents with their accounts as well. So you can become a networker on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on whatever new technology and social media sites you can find. You also can become a blogger or a vlogger or a YouTuber, right? Where you become an expert in something at whatever age you're at. I don't know if you've ever seen Kid President. He was pretty popular a couple of years ago. He was a kid who was interested in politics, and he became famous because he was interested in politics and interested in the world being kind to each other. So there are opportunities for you to become an expert now and start writing about it or start talking about it and becoming the expert for your age group. So now what, right? As we move into, we're going to move into the Q&A in a minute. But as we move towards the solutions part of this, I think, the solution is not today. You don't have to have a solution today. You're in your teenage years, you're on your way to figuring out what you want to be when you grow up. So today's solution is stay curious, keep on researching, keep on networking. Think about how the companies behind the products and services you use might work. So a cool thing to do, if you want an assignment to take with you, is when you wake up tomorrow, everything you do, think about where that came from, right? So you wake up, you're in bed, somebody thought of the idea for the materials for your bed, somebody created the mattress, somebody created the design for the quilt you have on your bed, right? That's before you even get out of bed. All of those companies exist and all of the jobs behind them exist. And if you spend the day thinking about everything you do and see, you're only scratching the surface of how many different exciting, amazing jobs there are. So now I'm going to hand it back to Sriya, and I think we're going to do some Q&A.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I believe Malingi Auntie will be leading the Q&A.
Thank you, Shreya, and thank you, Lauren. This is, essentially the time for the audience to come off mute and ask any questions of Lauren. I think it's been wonderfully engaging. So anybody has any questions, maybe I'll wait for about 10 seconds. If not, I can kick us off with a question. But please come off mute and ask any questions of Lauren.
As a human resources or what your job is, what do you do?
Yeah, so for most of my career, I worked in human resources, and I was in charge of what they call the life cycle of the employee. So you've heard of life cycles in science, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I heard it.
Cool. Okay, so in human resources, I worked on the life cycle of the employee. So I would hire employees, which meant I had to put jobs out on the internet and find people to come and work for us. I would manage them when they came in, make sure they got set up with all of their computer and technology and their job description, make sure they had everything they needed. If there were problems, if there was an argument or a disagreement, or if somebody wasn't doing their job the way that they should, I helped managers figure out how to address those situations. I also did training to help people learn how to be managers and learn how to give feedback and help people grow and develop. And then when employees decided to leave, I helped them get all of their stuff in order. I made sure that they got paid while they were there as well. So it's all of the work that goes into making sure that employees have what they need while they're working at your company. It's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else do we have?
Snigdha, we're not able to hear you. Do you want to put the chat, put the question in chat?
Excuse me, could I ask? I mean, this isn't really a question, but when you were saying like there are so many different jobs in the world, it actually reminded me of the fact, like, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's an underwater hotel and there's a literal job where you go scuba diving for pizza delivery.
What a cool job. Yeah. I mean, even an underwater hotel, you need scientists who can figure out how to make an underwater hotel work and make it waterproof, how to make sure that the air in there is safe and clean to breathe. You've got people who have to swim to work every day. And you've got pizza delivery people who have to scuba dive to deliver a pizza. Incredible. Yeah. How many people do I help in a day? Well, that depends. So in my current job, where now I'm an executive coach, I work with people mostly one at a time. And so I usually have a few people that I talk to for an hour at a time every week or two. When I was in human resources, the last company that I worked for was about 50 to 75 people. The company size changed while I was there. Before that, I worked with about 250 people. And before that, I worked with about 1,600 people. So it really depends. And when I worked with 1,600 people, I wasn't helping all 1,600 in a day. I was helping people like as they know me or as they needed me. And I had help. There were more people in my department. So, but I did really love being able to just help people and problem solve all day. That was a lot of what human resources was. Let's see, how do you find which job pays more? And do you like your job? Two great questions. So how do you find jobs that pay more? So in a lot of states, the states are making it required that the companies post the salary that they're going to pay when they put a job description out on the internet to hire. But you can learn which jobs pay what by just doing a little bit of Googling. There's a website called salary.com where you can look for different jobs and you can find out how much those pay across the country in your neighborhood. That's a fun little thing to do to figure out how much jobs pay. And when you're interviewing for jobs, you get to ask the interviewer how much the job pays, and they have to tell you. And do I like my job? I love my job. I loved my job when I was in human resources for all of those years. And while I was doing that job, I was working on the side and taking on coaching clients. And last year, I left my full-time job to do the coaching full-time because I just loved it so much. I love helping people figure out what they want to do for a job, what they want to do in their lives, and figuring out how to get that. Because sometimes it's really hard. It's always easier to help other people do stuff than it is to figure out for yourself what you want to do. Great question. Do I ever feel stressed? I do. Yes, I do. When I worked in human resources, there were some times when I worked a lot of hours, and that was really stressful. And what I learned was that I needed to figure out how to balance my life and how to give a lot of time and energy to work because I really cared about it, and also give a lot of time and energy to myself. And so that's something I really pay attention to, that if I'm stressed, I stop and I do things I'd like to do. I stop and do a jigsaw puzzle, or I stop and read, or I stop and meditate, or I go for a walk, or I listen to really loud screamy music and I scream with it. So I think it's important when you're doing schoolwork or work, adult work, that you give yourself an opportunity to take breaks and breathe and think about the things that make you happy. And even if you just take 5-minute breaks here and there, it can really help you feel less stressed.
Looks like Shatwik and Samanyu have their hands raised. So do we want to hear their questions?
Yeah.
Samanyu, do you want to come off mute? Because you've been having your hand raised for the longest. Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a comment. So there's this job that is eligible for 5-year-olds and up. It's a candy tasting job.
That's amazing. I'm 5 years and up. I would like that job.
You can taste like 6 million or 600,000 candies a year.
Wow. That's a lot.
And
That sounds fun though.
and the company gives them a free dental plan.
That's the best part. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Okay.
Shatwik, go ahead. With
When you were a child, and do you have that job right now?
Oh, such a great question. When I was a child, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And when I grew up, I realized I wanted to work with adults instead of kids for most of my job. And so in human resources, I got to do some teaching when I did training for employees. And so I got the best of both worlds. Yes.
When you're a coach, what path do you choose?
Sorry, ask that again.
When you're a coach, what path do you choose?
What path?
Yeah.
Like, do you mean like school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I became a coach because when I was in human resources, people used to ask me to help with their resume. And so I started helping people with their resumes, and then I started helping them actually look for jobs. And then I started helping them figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up. And even though they were already grown-ups. And so for me, I was already doing a job that had like a side piece of the job that was coaching. And so over the years, I developed those skills. I went for more training. I got certified to be a coach. And so one job led me to another. And a lot of the people that I work with are doing one job and they like bits and pieces of it. And I can help them figure out, you know, that part of their job, how that can be a whole job somewhere else. So great question. What else we've got a couple in the chat. I heard only a few people can become astronauts because not many countries are sending people to space. So how to find how many jobs are available in which I'm interested in. So that's going to keep changing, right? You know, years ago, we didn't have a space force, and now we have a space force. And, you know, 50 years ago, we hadn't been really to space, and now we go to space, right? And so we're going to space less now, but that's because we've already done a lot there. And I think we're waiting for the next level of discovery and the next level of budgets. So I would say, you know, keep an eye on NASA in particular, right? Because they are our main field of knowledge for space. And you can, if you go to any company's website, including NASA, they're going to have a page called careers, and they'll tell you what jobs are available right now. And you can peek in and see what those jobs are and see what people do in those jobs. How do you help people figure out what to do when they don't like their current job? I do a lot of different exercises with them to help them figure out what they do like, what they've been successful at. And that's why I asked at the beginning of our conversation, what do you like to do and what are you good at? And we figure out what those things are together, what you can combine, and what kinds of jobs exist out there that you can start applying to. And I help people write their resumes so that their work reflects that they're qualified for those different kinds of jobs. I think we've got a hand up with Aryahi. Did I say that right? Nope.
maybe there's one more in chat that we can take, Lauren, and I know we're coming up on time.
Okay, great. What is the longest time you have helped someone? Oh, that's a great question. Well, I've worked for companies with people for up to almost 10 years. And so I've helped the same people in that company. But coaching people, the people that I coach are usually looking for either a shift in their career to go somewhere else to another kind of job, or they're looking to grow in their current job. And so for the most part, I mostly help people for 6 months to 2 years, depending on how complicated their situation is. And I also have helped people who worked with me for 6 months and then came back a year later because they wanted something different. And then I worked with them for a year. So it really depends.
Okay, wonderful. I know we've come up on time, so I want to be mindful of Lauren, your time, as well as everybody in the audience. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. It was a wonderful, very engaging session, and as we witnessed the great participation from the audience. So thank you so much for doing this. And as you mentioned, this is a framework for everybody, right? To continue to kind of come back to throughout our lives. I think the curiosity and the discovery doesn't stop ever. As our interests evolve, I think, we can find new interests, and the starting point is the intersection of what do you like to do, which is informed by our interest, and then what are you good at, and then that could also evolve, right? As you learn to do new things, you get better at certain other things as well. So it's interesting, and thank you so much for sharing the framework that we can all come back to throughout. So with that, we'll again thank you and thank everyone for the participation today, and have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye.
Excuse me, one thing, there is this lucky draw.
Thank you. Thank you, bye.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you have any questions, you can email info@agoramastercode.org or comment below and we'll reply back. Maybe. And if you want to see practice things or anything about us, you can visit our website, which is basically the end of the email but without the info and the end. So bye!